Welcome, everybody. This is Mandulo, and I am here having these sacred conversations where it's about bridging the gap between your head and your heart. I use breath, I use medicine of movement, the medicine of sound and touch, either physically or just through feeding through these heartfelt conversations, which are going to be related heavily on relationship and lifestyle and your transformation in life, really, at the end of the day. So it involves all of life. Okay, so the main thing with these messages is to always only take what resonates in the story. Try not to make it fit if it doesn't fit. And also, if you're starting to feel yourself judging what's happening to you or what is happening through what I'm saying in the conversation, save yourself any karma. Okay. So, and then just move on. Just swipe to another video that you're where the message will resonate best for you. So let's just consciously connect. I sat with this a little bit. Let's connect to the energies currently. You want to just be able to receive this message and ground into your body from a more grounded and safe space. So just take a deep breath. And exhale very slowly. The intention is to share a message and to use my personal life experience and bear it all. And hopefully you can learn from this, because we can always learn from looking back. So the title of this is Look Back at What History, and instead of history, I got a message to say put your story, right? Like history, your story, and look back at what is happening now in relation to what has happened then, right? So I'll share a story with what I guess I got guided to share in this particular instant. And the 3 questions that you want to ask yourself when you are in limbo. I think maybe that could be the topic title. Okay, so there was a period of my life a few years ago where I had broken up with the love of my life, and I was going through my Saturn return, and it was just yabba. I was 27 going on 28. Life felt like a mess. And I had been staying with him, and I had to move out after we broke up, of course. Naturally so, right? And there was a period where we got back together again. And then, it just didn't work out. And when we moved out of the house that we were living in together, then somehow we both eventually lived up on the same street in a different area. So it was literally, we could walk down the road. So you know what that always entails, trying again. And at that time, when we tried again, and it was like there was no way in which we could mend this. I couldn't for the life of me see myself still living in Cape Town. Like, you know, when you have an image and a desire of what your relationship would, the outcome of your relationship, really, you hold it so close to your heart and you have these plans together and you share these dreams, and maybe one more than the other. And maybe you have different dreams in different paths in the way in which you want to achieve them, right? And I just couldn't see my life here in Cape Town without him at the time. It just, my heart was shattered. And yeah, it was just shattered. I was just like, first and foremost, I'm going through my Saturn return. If you like, between the ages of, it starts reeling you in at 25. It starts going like, pulls you like a fish rod and pulls you in. And then it goes up until like 30. So between 25 and 30, those key ages, read up on your Saturn return and what that means. Basically, in short, when you were born, Saturn almost like governs your direction and your destiny almost. And it governs what you've come here to do. And if you are not choosing to move in that direction, life will make sure that it reels you back into that direction. So major things can happen during that phase of your life. Breakups, makeups, engagements, basically anything with bigger commitments. It could be getting a pet, it could be buying a house, it could be moving international. It's major things that help you commit to this path that you need to go on to learn something, you know. And then when you learn that thing and you go through those lessons and the certain stages, you go back, because you never not going to not experience, is that even correct English? You're always going to experience being in limbo, but you get better at doing it, because limbo is that space between I know and I don't know, but I really don't know. Right? That's limbo. That's the limbo state. So anyways, we say our goodbyes and I'm just like, yo, I can't be in Cape Town. I can't see my life like without you. I can't, like, I just, right now my brain feels a little bit fried. My heart is broken. I just couldn't, I didn't have the capacity to continue forward and to push forward with making my career work even better. So circle back, I moved back to Joburg and I moved with a friend. And I decide, hey, it's time to go teach English in South Korea. And I was just like, when I was looking at those videos, I was like, oh my God, I don't think I can do this. But right now I have no other choice because Cape Town. Yeah. And then, so it took like 3 months. The company that I had found was like, yes, this is all you need. Process the papers, everything. And I guess it seemed to be the new year around there. There was some celebration in South Korea around like January. So here I am with my friend. She's working. I'm not working. I'm thinking I'm going to. This is like a transition space in between here and boosting my life and going to teach English in South Korea, even though I definitely did not want to do it. But I was just like, I think that might just be my ticket to freedom, to solving my issues. At the time, that's what I thought. Anyways, circling back to that, every single time, it started getting a little bit weird because every single time I would message the agents who were helping me with the processing, every single time I would get back to them or they would get back to me, there was always something more I had to do. And I was like, hey, like, what is going on? Because every time when the email would be sent, I said, please make sure, are you sure this is all that I need now? And they're like, yeah, everything's good, let's go. Basically within 3 months, there was a period after like 2 months ish that I was like, this just might not be happening. And my parents are like, this might just not be happening. And everybody around me was like, are you sure that this is going to happen? So I'm in this limbo. I'm like doing everything I possibly think is the right. I'm doing my yoga. I'm doing my journaling. I'm trying to pray. I'm trying to go to gym. I even had to go back to working at the Virgin Active. And just to keep some income, because the money was just like yoop every single swipe, and not much was coming back in. And I was just like, okay, I don't know. And in that place of, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? My life is going into shambles in this point. And I'm just like, how did we get here? Nobody's supposed to be here. Like, nobody should have been in that situation. And I remember speaking to one friend that I was living with. Like, she's so calm. And it feels like something's crawling up my back, like I'm supposed to run. And I just want to run to get away from this experience of such anxiety that I was experiencing in that moment. And with such calmness, she just goes, friend, do you pray? And I'm like, Banabat, like, excuse me? Yeah, I think I do. Yes, I do pray, in my way of prayer. And we go to sleep eventually. And in this phase of my life, of being in this limbo, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? I'm listening every day. It felt like it felt like I was going through such high emotions. It felt like ridiculous. I would listen to, like, those motivationals where it's like, you better get up in the morning. You better get up and go get it. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I've got this. Like, I've got this. And then sometimes you'd listen to someone who's like, take a deep breath in and just feel the anxiety release. Or I'm listening to someone preaching. I was just listening. Every day was something just to get my mind like, stop thinking about your reality. It might not be as bad as you think it is. Start just pulling in positivity. Positive was my next adventure. Then I remember one morning where I was practicing some yoga. And then boom, like next thing I'm stressed. I'm like, what just happened? Because this yoga was supposed to sort out my stress. And yeah, my stress level at the time was pretty high, I should say. It would move from stages of like, oh my God, I can actually do this. Like at some point in time, something is going to work out. And then I need to run. Doom, 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 kind of thing. And then another friend, and I'm speaking to him. And he goes, dude, you're going to be okay, man. You know, like everything's going to be okay. And I'm like, at this stage, I have no idea what to do. Help. Help me. And he goes, do you pray? I'm like, another one asking me this. I'm like, okay, clearly I need to start getting into prayer. And I go, at this stage, to be quite honest with you, I actually don't even know how to do it. I'm so lost in my mind that I don't even know how to do it. And he just goes, just speak to God like you're speaking to a friend. And I was like, that sounds easy. Just speak to God like you're speaking to a friend. And my voice even dropped with that. And I was just speak to God like you're speaking to a friend. And then I started praying and I was just like, God, please give me clarity. Please give me a vision of something different and possibility. Help me see through the lens of possibility. Help me see through the lens of opportunity, through what I feel is an obstacle in my life in this moment. Just help me see. And I guess it was in that period where I had also listened to Tony Robbins, Tony Robbins, I think. And I just remember him with his husky-like voice. And I remember there was a seminar that he was holding. And he said, in your life, if you want to make a change, ask these 3 questions. And he says, whenever you want movement to happen in your life, ask these 3 questions. And these are very, very important questions that from time to time I ask myself when things are like, hey now, what's going on? He goes, what environment would help you thrive right now? If you look at what your situation is, what environment would help you be at your level best, right? So it could be you could see a physical place. So you could go, I see myself like near something tropical, where it's, I don't know, travelers. And at the time, I knew my environment was Cape Town again. And I was like, Cape Town again? How am I going to make this work? Okay, cool. Then he goes, ask, when you think of that environment, what am I doing in that environment that brings me the most joy? So you got to think, what am I doing? What am I doing? So I asked myself, okay, so I'm in Cape Town, right? Firstly, how am I going to make that work? What am I doing? And then it was like yoga. It came as like the most softest, most obvious answer. Do yoga. And then the third question you got to ask yourself is, why am I doing this? So what environment am I doing it in that makes me thrive? what am I doing in this environment and why am I doing it? Your why is possibly the most important connected to your environment, because your why is going to bring back that discipline when you feeling challenged and you don't want to do what you want to do and you're not as motivated. Your motivator will be your purpose, and your purpose of why you're doing it will give you that feeling of what you want to attain from this experience, right? From what you were doing, from said environment. And I knew my biggest why is because I love what I do. I love what I do. It brings joy, it brings healing, it brings reconnection. Then the next thing was like, okay, cool. I know I need to go to Cape Town. I need to go back. I need to make this work. Clearly, there's something more for me there. Second, I knew that I needed to be teaching yoga again. And third, I knew why I wanted to be doing it was for the purpose of connection, and I love what I do. And I knew I also had to do it. Then I was like, how the hell am I going to get this money to do it now? And where am I going to teach? You know, because I'd said my goodbyes to the studios. And thank goodness, you know, you always got to make connections that you can still have a good relationship with them, whether you leave at any point in time. And then I figured out a way to do it. Something in my mind as I was praying to my friend. God, by the way, as I was praying, I was like, please give me clarity as to how I can do this. Then something in me was like, start off with the end in mind. How much do you need to get there? What do you need? How much time do you need to build? So I was like, okay, I need at least like minimum 3 months coverage of rent. And I know within those 3 months, I know I'll be making money. And then I rounded up the parents. And at the time, I think I found like an Airbnb with an amazing guy who, the rent was just reasonable Airbnb. And I think it was like 4K at the time. I mean, can you ever? Where do you get that nowadays? So 4. And then what I did was, okay, times that by 3. And then, or times it by 4 just in case. I think I did that. Times it by 4, 3 or something like that. And then I was like, okay, basically I need like 20 something K to get there. And then like food for a month. And I was like knocking on my parents' door. I spoke to them. I said what I was going to do, what I'd hoped I was going to do. And boom, within the next couple of weeks, I was driving myself back to Cape Town with my own why. So look back at where you were in limbo. Ask yourself, how did I get out of that situation? Look at specific key things that helped you see a different perspective of what this had come to teach you versus why is this happening to you, right? Start empowering yourself with empowering questions so that it gives you autonomy to move forward and to understand the answers within yourself, that the wisdom is within. It's everything you need is within. You simply have to ask and you shall receive. Then ask yourself, moving forward from where I am, specifically if you're in limbo because you're not happy where you are. And there's a prospective something coming in soon to your life. And this soon needs you to be curious a little bit, because ultimately in life, you could do anything you wanted, right? Sometimes there is a specific thing at that point that needs that needs you to build onto something else that you're going to do later on. So sometimes that's why you might find that you've got so many skills and you could do like anything, but it's like, what is my highest excitement in this moment that will help me to be able to learn the skills that I need to move forward? So you're going through skill training at the same time. So open yourself up to that, to be like, when you move forward, you just want to be able to live like a student, in terms of when you're coming to learn something new. Every day is an opportunity to learn something new and to be curious about, what does this come to show me? What does this show me that I value? What does this show me about myself? Be curious about yourself. Just really opening up yourself to get to know yourself a little bit better, because that's the most loving relationship that we're trying to get to ourselves, right? But sometimes we can't do it without each other, you know. We're always going to need each other, actually, all the time. It's just, when I mean need each other in terms of close capacity, like having to have a direct romantic relationship or friendship or whatever, is like really, really close. Because sometimes if you know how to learn from relationship, you could be learning from someone who works at the till. You could be having a conversation and she could, or he could, teach you something, right? So never pass up an opportunity to learn in relationship with any interaction that you find yourself in. And know that this limbo is a beautiful gift. There's fun and curiosity within the space that you're in. If you look back in your history, your story, and then ask the questions, what environment will make me thrive? What am I doing in that environment? Picture that. What am I doing? And why am I doing it? Because your why would just be like, oh yes, it will give you such a soft landing. I'm starting to really love these sacred conversations even more. So we're just going to close off. And if you'd like to, just close your eyes, or just look ahead if you're looking at something beautiful, or think about someone beautiful or something beautiful in this moment, just in gratitude. Thank you for receiving this message, and that the stories from personal experience is going to help so many people who are listening. For those that this message resonates, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity and this platform to be able to share experience, and to share the understanding that we are not alone, that no one is immune to going through struggle. And through our struggle, when we have overcome it, we can learn from those experiences and simply share with one another the wisdom that has been imparted through this knowledge and experience, and how we've been able to alchemize our own personal pain into the most beautiful thing alive, right? Because life is beautiful. When you start seeing the lens and you start choosing to see life as beautiful, and to see where you are at from an obstacle point of view, you see the opportunity. So thank you, God, that anyone who listens to this, their eyes may open to see opportunity in any obstacle that comes through, or that might be in front of them in this moment, for them to be able to see the value with what this thing or this person or this place has brought them. So we open our hearts, we open our minds to perceive and to be challenged within our beliefs, to be able to transform our minds so that we can look at this new day as this new day without looking at it from the lens of yesterday. And then we can allow ourselves to be in the present moment where so much divineness happens. I really wish for you peace. I wish for you understanding. I wish for you a shift in perspective so that you can transcend your human issues and look beyond, move beyond them, so you can see why this is happening for you versus against you. I'm sending so much love, and I know that you are listening at this stage and you might be going through struggle, and just know that you are not alone. Okay? You're not alone. Sending so much love to you. Okay. Bye.